Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhakute Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhakute Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Banachade Yamuna Tira Banachare Jayaram Madhuva Kunyabihad Hey Jaya Madhava Kunyabihave Gopi Dana Malabha Girivadahute Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivadahute Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Banachate Yamuna Tira Banachare Jayaram Madhava Kunyabihati Jaya Madhava Kunyabihati Bihati Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Tada Satashi Shima Divine Grace Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavan Nigajai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan Kijai, Vrindavanam Kijai, Mathuranam Kijai, Jagadava Swami Kijai, Munamaya Kijai, Shrimati Lasi Devi Kijai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Kijai, Gaur Premananda, Hari Hari Bom. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samani Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pacharane Nivashesha. Shunyavadi Paschacha Dejatarni. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 52nd chapter, text 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Shvo Vamani Twam Ajitodvahane Vidarbhan Gupta Samecha Pritana Patipi Parita Nirmatya Chaija Magathendra Balam Prasaya Mam Rakshasena Vidinodvaha Virya Shukam Svobhavani Twam Ajitodvahane Vidarbhan Gupta Samecha Pratanapati Parita Nirmatya Chaija Magadendra Balam Prasaya Mam Rakshasena Vidinodvaha Virya Shulkam Shvobhavani Twam Ajitodvahane Vidarbhan Gupta Samecha Pratanapati Parita Nirmatya Chaija Magadendra Balam Prasaya Mam Rakshasena Vidinodvaha Virya Shulkam Shvobhavani Twam Ajitodvahane Vidarbhan Gupta Samecha Pratanapati Parita Nirmatya Chaija Magadendra Balam Prasaya Mam Rakshasena Vidinodvaha Virya Shulkam Saya. Zukam. No one else? Okay. Shvabhavani. Tomorrow. Twam. You. Ajita. O unconquerable one. Udvahane. At the time of the marriage ceremony. Vidarbhan. To Vidarbha. Gupta. Unseen. Samecha. Coming. Pritana. Of your army. Pati B. By the leaders. Parita. Surrounded. Nirmatya. Crushing. Chaija. Of Chaija Shishupala. Magadha Indra. And the king of Magadha, Jarasandha. Balam, the military strength. Prasaya, by force. Mam, me. Rakshasena Vihitina, in the Rakshasa style. Unvaha, taken marriage. Virya, your prowess. Shulkam, the payment for whom? So translation. O unconquerable one, tomorrow, when my marriage ceremony is about to begin, you should arrive unseen in Vidarbha and surround yourself with the leaders of your army. Then crush the forces of Chaija and Magadhendra and marry me in the Rakshasa style, winning me with your valor. So you can repeat, unconquerable one. Tomorrow when my marriage ceremony is about to begin, you should arrive unseen in Vidarbha and surround yourself with the leaders of your army. Then crush the forces of Jayaja and Magadhendra and marry me in the Rakshasa style, winning me with your valor. So, purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada. As Srila Prabhupada points out in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rukmini, being born of royal blood, certainly had a brilliant grasp of political affairs. She advised Sri Krishna to enter the city alone and unnoticed and then surround himself with his military commanders so he could do what was needed. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti compares the coming fight to the Lord's churning of the ocean to extract the goddess Lakshmi. Gorgeous Rukmini, the goddess of fortune, would be gained in the coming turbulence. So I'll read the verse again, and then we'll go through the Acharya's commentaries. Again, the verse. Shvobhavani tvam ajito dvahane vidarbhan gupta samecha pritana patibi parita nirmatya chaija magadendra balam prasaya mam rakshasena vidino dvaha virya shukam. So, Om Megana Timiranda Shat, Ranjana Shlakaya, Chakshun Militam Yena, Tasmai Shigaravena Maha. So, let me read the Acharya's commentaries, and then we have a few words to say about this. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, true, I accept you according to your past pious actions. Of course, this is a discussion between Krishna and Shri Amati Rukmini Devi. But what should I do now that you have been given to Shishupal in marriage? So Krishna's asking this question. Rukmini then shows him a method. You cannot be defeated by anyone, Ajita, and therefore at the upcoming wedding, first you should enter the city unseen, without troops, and having entered the city, you can surround yourself with your army to show your strength. In other words, sneak in, and then all of a sudden, we're in the midst of everything. In other words, Krishna would say, I'm just coming to see the wedding. And then all of a sudden, there's this big army there, and Krishna too, and Krishna's able to do what he wants to do. If you do not do this, then it will be difficult to enter the city quickly, for outside the city, troops will be ready to fight with you. After entering the city, however, you can say that you have come to see the spectacular wedding, and the army will have no reason for fighting with you. Then at your leisure, you can take me away. If the evil, fearsome troops agitate to fight with you, near Mantya, you can show your bravery just as you receive Lakshmi from the churning near Mantana of the ocean. Suddenly snatch me away, the reward for your show of strength. So we're going to talk about this, Lakshmi being taken from the churning of the ocean. But let me read the other commentaries first. Jiva Goswami comments, in great distress, so she's in great distress. In 2 verses, she gives her solution to the problem. You should be unknown, announcing yourself with a different province. Well, in disguise. I've come from somewhere else. Name and language. And come directly inside the assembly. Sang itya. Come surrounded by leaders of armies. This indicates a huge army. She makes this description out of affection for Krishna. She incites him boldly because he is unconquerable, Ajita. Crush the forces of Shishupala and Jarasandha, who has come to help him. The word Nirmatya, crusher, churn, suggests an ocean of armies. Just as you previously churned the milk ocean and delivered me, Lakshmi, so you should churn the ocean of Shishupala's armies and deliver me now. Suggesting the Rakshasa type of marriage, she indicates his indifference to the enemy and suitability of her request. So there's different angles of vision of each of the acharyas. This act will be successful because you are unconquerable, Ajita. And finally, Sanatana Goswami. Enter within the city, Sametya, surrounded by leaders of troops like Balaram. There should be many leaders of troops. Though you are unconquerable, Ajita, you should think of friends in danger. Agitate the enemy troops constantly or destroy them completely. Here's another meaning of the word nirmatya. It could also mean churning, destroying them completely. Jarasandha's army should be destroyed because it assists Shishupala. The word nirmatya, again the word nirmatya, churn, suggests that the armies are unlimited like the ocean. Moreover, just as previously the ocean was churned and you delivered me, so she's remembering her past appearance as Lakshmi, and also as Sita, as we heard previously. It was interesting. Now also deliver me from the inner city with its ocean of Shishupal's army. In Rakshasa marriage, there's no consideration of asking for the bride or qualification for marrying the bride. And then finally Krishna says, why do you encourage me to engage in a great battle? You are famous at all times and places for victory, O unconquerable one. So, now we're going to talk about the churning of the milk ocean, which is actually described here. And this, I'm going to read some verses from the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which describe the churn, not the whole, I'm not going to read about the whole churning of the milk ocean. I'm going to read about how Lakshmi came out. Of course, The milk ocean was churned ostensibly to come out with the amrit, or the nectar. And the demigods and the demons engaged in this particular activity, and so many things came out of, whoops, something happened? So many things came out of the milk ocean, like Uchaya Shrava, of course the nectar, Dhanvantari came out, liquor came out, the Apsaras came out, so many things came out. But now we're going to talk about Lakshmi being churned from the ocean of nectar. So beginning with the 888 in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there appeared the goddess of fortune, Rama. This is important we pronounce that word properly instead of Rama. Rama is Lord Ram. Rama, who was absolutely dedicated to being enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She appeared like light, electricity, surpassing the lightning that might illuminate a marble mountain. Because of her exquisite beauty, her bodily features, her youth, her complexion, and her glories, everyone, including the demigods, the demons, and the human beings, desired her. They were attracted because she is the source of all opulences. So you see the similarity here between Rukmini being desired and Lakshmi being desired. Now you had the demigods, the demons, everybody became attracted to Lakshmi. And of course, as we know, you can't have Lakshmi without Narayan. It's impossible. Because if you have Lakshmi without Narayan, guess what? Who do you have? Durga. Prabhupada specifically talked about this many, many times. That, sometimes people do this Lakshmi puja, but you don't get Lakshmi unless you have Narayan. You're worshiping them both and understanding Lakshmi's position as a servant, as described here, absolutely dedicated to being enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is pure devotional service. So, next verse. The king of heaven, Indra, brought a suitable sitting place for the goddess of fortune. All the rivers of sacred water, such as the Ganges and Jamuna, personified themselves, and each of them brought pure water in golden water pots for Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. The land became a person and collected all the drugs and herbs needed for installing the deity. The cows delivered 5 products, as Panchagavya, namely milk, yogurt, ghee, urine, and cow dung. And spring personified collected everything produced in spring during the months of Chaitra and Vaishakha. The great sages performed the bathing ceremony of the goddess of fortune as directed in the authorized scriptures. The Gandharvas chanted all auspicious Vedic mantras, and the professional women dancers very nicely danced and sang authorized songs prescribed in the Vedas. I'm going to skip some of this because it's quite a few verses. So the ocean, which is the source of all valuable jewels, supplied the upper and lower portions of a yellow silken garment. The predominating deity of the water, Varuna, presented flower garlands surrounded by 6-legged bumblebees drunken with honey. Vishwakarma, one of the Prajapatis, supplied varieties of decorated ornaments. The goddess of learning, Saraswati, supplied a necklace. Lord Brahma supplied a lotus flower, and the inhabitants of Nagaloka supplied earrings. Thereafter, Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, having been properly celebrated with an auspicious ritualistic ceremony, began moving about, holding in her hand a garland of lotus flowers, which were surrounded by humming bees. Smiling with shyness, her cheeks decorated by her earrings, she looked extremely beautiful, and there's some descriptions of her beautiful nature. While walking among the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, Siddhas, Charnas, and denizens of heaven, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, was scrutinizingly examining them, but she could not find anyone naturally endowed with all good qualities. It's like Rukmini's statements. It's very, very, very similar, a lot of parallels here. None of them was devoid None of them was devoid of faults, and therefore she could not take shelter of any of them. The goddess of fortune, examining the assembly, thought in this way: someone who has undergone great austerity has not yet conquered anger. Someone possesses knowledge, but he has not conquered material distress. Someone is very great personality, but he cannot conquer lusty desires. Even a great personality depends on something else. How then can he be the supreme controller? Someone may possess full knowledge of religion, but still not be kind to all living entities. In someone, whether human or demigod, there may be renunciation, but that is not the cause of liberation. So she goes through all these faults of everybody else there. Even she touches upon Lord Shiva. Although such demigods as Lord Shiva have eternal life, they have inauspicious habits like living in crematoriums. And even if others are well qualified in all respects, they are not devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shukadeva Goswami continued, in this way, after full deliberation, the goddess of fortune accepted Mukunda as her husband, because although he is independent and not in want of her, he possesses all transcendental qualities and mystic powers, and is therefore the most desirable. Approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the goddess of fortune placed upon his shoulders the garland of newly grown lotus flowers, which was surrounded by humming bees searching for honey. Then, expecting to get a place on the bosom of the Lord, she remained standing by his side, her face smiling in shyness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Father of the three worlds, and his bosom is the residence of Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the proprietor of all opulences. The goddess of fortune, by her favorable and merciful glance, can increase the opulence of the three worlds along with their inhabitants and their directors and demigods. So there's a lot more descriptions. Here, just one final verse I wanted to read. O king, because of being neglected by the goddess of fortune, the demons and Rakshasas were depressed, bewildered, frustrated, and thus they became shameless. So that's the description of the churning of the Milk Ocean. Now, the second point I want to talk about is how Krishna in this verse is called Ajita, which means he's unconquerable. And I want to talk about how Krishna is conquerable. And there's a beautiful verse that talks about this. There's several verses that talk about this in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in which Chitraketu is making this point. Chitraketu, actually. And I'll read the verse. Chitraketu ruvacha ajita jita sama matibi sarubir bhavan jitatmabir bhavata vijitas te pi chabhajatam akamat manam ya atmado ti karuna. Chitraketu said, O unconquerable Lord, although you cannot be conquered by anyone, you are certainly conquered by devotees who have control of the mind and senses. They can keep you under their control because you are causelessly merciful to devotees who desire no material profit from you. Indeed, you give yourself to them, and because of this, you also have full control over your devotees. And a little bit of Prabhupada's purport. The Lord and the devotees both conquer. The Lord is conquered by the devotees, and the devotees are conquered by the Lord. And of course, there's that famous verse, Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam tvaham maranyat tena janati naham tebyo managapi, which shows the intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotees. And here we're talking about Rukmini and Krishna, in which Sadhavo hridayam mayam, the sadhus, the devotees, they have Krishna in their hearts. And Krishna states, and reciprocation, then I also have the devotees in my heart. So just like we're trying to meditate on Krishna, because I can't say we're a devotee, but let's say a real devotee is just thinking of Krishna, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochenena, Shantak Shiraiva Vrideshu Vilokiyanti, Yam Shain Mishundara Chincha Gunaswarupam, Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami. And Krishna's thinking of devotees always, in the same way, meditating on devotees. You just think, what a loving relationship we have with the Supreme Person of God, one that we're supposed to realize. So, and Krishna says, Maranyat tena janati naham tebyo managapi, because they do not know anyone else other than me as theirs. I do not know anyone else other than them as mine. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, it's really beautiful to think about that. And of course, Prabhupada talks in his purport, the highest perfection of mutual conquering is exhibited by Krishna and the gopis. The gopis conquered Krishna, and Krishna conquered the gopis. So, Prabhupada describes that Krishna conquered the minds of the gopis by playing his flute. And the gopis conquered Krishna because without seeing them, Krishna became unhappy. This is a direct quote from Prabhupada. Without seeing the gopis, Krishna could not be happy. This is amazing. So, anyway, so there's a long purport, and we don't really have time to read that purport. I wanted to read a few more verses. In the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a beautiful verse that states, I'm just going to read the English of this verse, all the activities of their senses are engaged in the service of the Lord. This is because of devotees. All their activities. Because of such devotion, the Lord gives himself to his devotees as if they could use him for any purpose they might desire. That's conquered. Krishna becomes conquered. Of course, devotees have no purpose other than to serve. When a devotee fully surrenders and has no aspiration for material profit, the Lord certainly gives him all opportunities for service. This is the position of the Lord when conquered by his devotees. And another verse, of course, this is the famous verse of Lord Brahma's prayers, which we read previously in Bhagavatam class 10.14.3. Jnane prayasam udapasya namantaheva jivanti sanmukaritam bhavadiyavartam stane stita shrutikatam tanvan manobir ye prayasya jita jitopyasi taistrilokyam. And so, translation of this, of course, is the famous verse that's usually referred to how Krishna is conquered by his devotees. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge, and with their body, words, and mind, offer all respects. Of course, this is Lord Brahma speaking his prayers to Krishna. All respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, certainly conquer your lordship, although you were otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. So, this verse was actually utilized by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because sometimes one may think, in order to be a pure devotee, to come up to that highest platform, one has to leave his or her particular situation, take sannyas, give everything up, and just engage in bhajan. And Lord Chaitanya spoke that in several places when he was touring South India, particularly one point was to Kurma Brahman, because Kurma Brahman wanted to follow Lord Chaitanya. Obviously, I mean, if Lord Chaitanya came to Hillsborough, it'd be hard to keep me anyway. Hard to keep me here. Anyway, I'd say, do you need an assistant? I'd like to travel with you. So he wanted to follow Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and give up everything, give up his family, and he thought that's going to give me Krishna consciousness. But this verse states you have to stay in your particular situation. Because renunciation, because everything's difficult, is renunciation in the mode of passion, according to the Bhagavad Gita. You understand? That's passion. Things get difficult, and we think we're going to become more Krishna conscious. And, obviously, this Brahman's situated in household life. There were struggles and everything, and he thought to be with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be ecstatic. But then Lord Chaitanya said, Stani stata, shudikatam tan van, manobir, quoting from this verse. Just stay where you are. But engage in what? Shudikatam tan van, manobir. Hearing and chanting and remembering. Of course, the whole nine processes, nine process of devotional service. So this is very important instruction for us. And then, actually, the final thing I want to talk about, I want to talk about Ajita. Wow. So many things here. Is the Nectar Devotion mentions this, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, mentions the ability to conquer Krishna or control Krishna as one of the 6 qualities of pure devotional service, which, of course, is attained only when one comes to the platform of prema. It's not that someone on the platform of sadhana or even Majjamadhikari can control Krishna, but that's on the highest level of the 6 qualities. So, I was going to read Prabhupada's commentary on this particular point. It was Nectar Devotion. I'll just read one paragraph, and then I have another verse I wanted to read. Srila Rupa Goswami has stated, this from the Nectar Devotion, that devotional service attracts even Krishna. Krishna attracts everyone, but devotional service attracts Krishna. The symbol of devotional service in the highest degree is Radharani. Krishna is called Madan Mohan, which means that he is so attractive that he can defeat the attraction of thousands of cupids. But Radharani is still more attractive, for she can attract Krishna. Therefore, devotees call her Madan Mohan Mohini, the attractor of Cupid. And Prabhupada states specifically here, to perform devotional service means to follow in the footsteps of Radharani, and devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve perfection in their devotional service. In other words, we approach Krishna through his devotee, and then Krishna, because he's controlled by his devotee, accepts our service. Just like we're approaching Krishna through Srila Prabhupada and disciplic succession. And if we approach Krishna directly, he's not going to accept. But if we approach through Krishna's devotee, one who says he is my devotee, one who says my devotee is not my devotee, Adi Purana, but one who says he is devotee of my devotee is my devotee. Okay. And then one final verse that I was really inspired by. I was reading the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam last night. Actually, I got 2 more verses. It's from the Krishna's instructions to Uddhava. And this is the secret of how to conquer Krishna. And it's also very similar to this, a verse of Jad Bhart's instructions to King Rahugana, Rahuganaita tapasanayati nachejya nirva panat krahadva nachandasanaiva jalagni suryar bana mahatpada rajobi shekam. My dear King Rahugana, you're not going to achieve perfection by taking sannyas, by being a good grahasta, by engaging in austerities, putting yourself in fire in the middle of the summer or ice in the middle of the winter, but only by taking the dust of a pure devotee. So, let me just read this because we just have 2 minutes. This is a beautiful verse from the 11th canto, 12th chapter, texts 1 to 2. Krishna says to Uddhava, The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Uddhava, by associating with my pure devotees, one can destroy one's attachment for all objects of material sense gratification." Here's the secret. And we can associate with Prabhupada by reading his books, hearing from and serving Prabhupada's mission. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. Such pure associating with Krishna's devotees, pure devotees, brings Krishna under the control. One may perform Ashtanga Yoga, then he goes through a whole list here. Ashtanga Yoga system engaged in philosophical analysis of the elements of material nature, Sankhya, practice nonviolence, and other ordinary principles of piety, chant the Vedas, perform penances, take to the renounced order of life, execute sacrificial performances, and dig wells, plant trees, and perform other public welfare activities, give in charity, carry out severe vows, worship the demigods, chant confidential mantras, visit holy places, or accept major and minor disciplinary injunctions. Anyway, so many times you want to visit all the holy, which is good. It's not bad to visit the holy places, but here's the priority. But even by performing such activities, one does not bring me under his control. And again, the first part of the verse, by associating with my pure devotees, one could destroy one's attachment for all objects of material sense gratification. Such purifying association brings me under the control of my devotee. Ecstatic. So, any questions or comments? Purvaji. Oh, that's from Judd Bart's statement to King Rahugana. Taking a bath in the dust. Basically, that means taking the association. And also the powerful substances that are mentioned, the foot dust of the pure devotee, the foot bathing water of the pure devotee, and the prasadam remnants of the pure devotee. So there's the Vapu Seva and the Vani Seva. But if you take this in a literal as well as non-literal sense, it indicates taking the association. And the most important way to take the association is Shushushro Shradanasha Vasudeva Kata Ruchi Shan Mahat Sevya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevanat, by hearing. Great service. This is a verse from the Bhagavatam. Shushushro Shradanasha, hearing with faith. Vasudeva Kata Ruchi, about Krishna Kata. Shan Mahat Sevya Vipra Punya Tirtha. This is the highest pious activity. Tirtha Nishevanat. So basically, that's the most important thing. Hearing, and of course chanting, but hearing from the lips of a pure devotee. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Giram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham Bhajami.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Namakum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pisnaya Putale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Saminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Muramani Vacha Nevesesha Shunyavati Masjagate Sajarane Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gauratarana. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gorakina Radha Gorakina Radha Jaya. Jaya Radha Gorakina Radha Gorakina Radha Jaya. Jaya Radha Jaya Radha Radha Jai Om.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru Govinda Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivaranam Pratipanam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midvishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam